Good evening. This is the World News at 6 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Amina Ojelabi, and here are the top stories. Zelensky suggests unoccupied Ukraine joins NATO. DSS releases Take It Back organizer in Abuja withholds his phone. Ohanaeze disowns Simon Ekpa. Former Aviation Minister Osita Chidoka resigns from PDP. ASUU declares indefinite strike in Bauchi State. Details now. The World News at 6 begins with President Volodymyr Zelensky saying that the parts of Ukraine under his control should be taken under the NATO umbrella to try and stop a hot phase of the war. Zelensky said he would accept NATO membership if it was offered to the whole of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. He further said Ukraine could then attempt to negotiate the return of territory currently under Russian control in a diplomatic way. He explained that only NATO membership could offer a ceasefire and is willing to accept proposals from the United States President-elect Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Washington would continue to provide military assistance and strengthen Ukraine's defense to ensure Russia will make no further advances and will not attack again after a ceasefire or a peace agreement. Back home in Nigeria, the Department of State Services DSS has released the organizer of pro-democracy group, the Take It Back movement in Kanu State, simply identified as Zubar, who was arrested on Thursday. VOP News gathered that Zubar was released by the DSS in Abuja last night and now en route to Kanu. Meanwhile, the DSS operatives refused to release Zubar's phone to him. The Take It Back movement, which raised the alarm of the arrest of Zubar, had said the reason for his arrest remained unknown, but TIB noted that sources said his arrest might be connected with a Facebook post he made where he was reportedly critical about the government. In a recent development, Ohanaeze and Igbo has disassociated themselves from the activities of Simon Ekpa, who is currently in detention in Finland over allegations of terrorism, and restated their demands for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. The vice president of Ohanaeze, Damian Okeke Ogene, disclosed this while addressing journalists in Awka, where he called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to release the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Maxi Nnamdi Kanu. He further disclosed that the Apex Social Cultural Group had also zoned the next president of the group to Imo State for a period of 2 months to complete the tenure of the state that was truncated by the death of Professor Obiozo and Emmanuel Iwanyawo, who hailed from Imo State. Ogene called on the Southeast governors to synergize and collaborate more on putting effective security apparatus that will enhance efficiency and sustainability in crime fighting. On the issue of replacing late Emmanuel Iwanyawo as the president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Ogene appealed to Ndigbo to allow Imo State complete their tenure by nominating the next president of the organization. In the meantime, former Minister of Aviation Osita Chidoka has announced his resignation from the People's Democratic Party (PDP), citing a shift towards non-partisan endeavors. His decision was detailed in a letter dated Friday, November 29th, and addressed to the PDP World Chairman in Obosi, Anambra State. In his resignation letter, Chidoka reflected on his journey within the PDP, highlighting his role as a founding member and his contributions to shaping the party's ideological and strategic direction. He expressed gratitude for the opportunities to serve as a Federal Safety Corps Marshal and as a senior cabinet minister, roles through which he contributed to national development. However, Chidoka stated that his current focus is on the Anthena Center for Policy and Leadership, a non-partisan think tank committed to evidence-based policy recommendations. You are currently listening to the World News at 6 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a short break and return with more stories. Stay tuned. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, at Sahadu Zunguru University, SAZU in Bauchi, has announced an indefinite strike to emphasize its call for improved working conditions from the university administration. In a statement to the press following an emergency congress convened at the ULIC campus in Bauchi, the ASUU chairperson for the SAZU branch, Comrade Awal Hussein Nuhu, indicated that the Congress had determined it had exhausted all available avenues, with previous effort to engage the authorities proving unsuccessful. The chairperson highlighted that the Congress recognized a lack of willingness and commitment from both the university administration and the government to redress its concerns despite numerous attempts made to facilitate dialogue. Meanwhile, organized labor in Cross River has revealed that it is set for the industrial action as proposed by the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) over the implementation of the new minimum wage. The chairman of Trade Union Congress in Cross River, Comrade Monday Obodum, made the revelation today. You will recall that the NLC had fixed December 1st for workers in states that failed to implement the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira to commence industrial action. The state labor chairman said except the Cross River government implements the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira, workers in the state will fully join the strike. It disclosed that negotiations with the state government were still progressing, adding that it will not stop them from joining the strike. And that is a wrap on the World News at 6 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, and let's take a look at the top stories again. Zelensky suggests unoccupied Ukraine joins NATO. DSS releases Take It Back organizer in Abuja withholds his phone. Ohanaeze disowns Simon Ekpa. Former Aviation Minister Osita Chidoka resigns from PDP. ASUU declares indefinite strike in Bauchi State. And that is a wrap on the World News at 6 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Amina Ojelabi. Good evening and thank you for listening.